Hey, this is Richard Christy from Charred Walls of the Damned, and welcome to Metal Maniacs.
This is Patrick with MetalManiacs.com. Pleasure speaking with Richard Christy, a phenomenal drummer from the band The Charred Walls of the Damned. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Okay, for being one of the best metal drummers out there, how did it feel to finally make, I guess, your own album?
Oh, well, thank you for saying that. That's nice of you to say. Yeah, it felt really good. I've played guitar since 1992, but really, I always just concentrated on drums, and when I started out playing guitar, it was just a fun thing to do. I remember I wanted to learn some Dismember songs, so that's one of the reasons I picked up a guitar in '92. But you know, I really just spent all my time playing drums. I'd practice 2 or 3 hours a day by myself, and then 3 or 4 hours with the band, so I never had a lot of time to concentrate on guitar, and that was up until 5.5 years ago when I moved to New York City and I joined the Howard Stern Show. I still practice drums every day. I'd play about an hour or two a day, but I would spend about an hour or two at night also playing guitar, because I built kind of a little home studio with Pro Tools, and I've always loved writing music, even when I was a little kid and we had a piano at my parents' house, and I've always really been kind of intrigued with the thought of writing music and where the ideas come from in people's heads, and so I finally got to the point where you know, about 2 or 3 years ago, I felt comfortable enough in my guitar playing that I felt I could write some pretty good riffs and write some full songs that I was really confident about, and that's when I decided to put together this band, Charred Walls of the Damned, and that's when I decided about 2 years ago to give Jason a call and Steve and Tim, and it was really, you know, it was weird at first, kind of being the one that's in charge of all the scheduling and all the business side and writing all the music and everything, but I love it. I love creating. I love creating comedy, and I love creating music and just creating anything. And so it's very rewarding to be able to write these songs and then hear them come to life once Tim and Steve and Jason get a hold of them, because they're so talented. They just take these songs that I wrote and make them a million times better. So you know, it's really exciting to kind of have this responsibility in the band, and I got to say that playing in Iced Earth and in Death, I learned a lot from John Schaefer and from Chuck Schuldiner about writing songs and about how to run a band and run the business side of things and organizing and scheduling and things like that. So fortunately, I've had a lot of inspiration and was able to learn a lot from the former bands that I've been in, and you know, one person that, well, there's a lot of people that have really inspired me to kind of do this, but especially Dave Grohl. I think it's amazing that he went from playing drums in Nirvana, and he was just kind of in the background, and now he's just known as an amazing front man, an amazing singer and guitar player, and I think that's so cool that, you know, he was a drummer like me, and he went on to just kind of take control and put together this amazing band.
Yep, that's great. All right, and the name, Charred Walls of the Damned, where did that stem from?
Well, that came from a prank call that I actually did. It's funny, I said this might be the very first heavy metal band name ever that comes from a prank call. And what happened is I do prank calls on the Howard Stern Show along with my comedy writing partner, Sal Governale, and we do these certain type of prank calls where we'll call radio stations around the country, and there's this type of radio that's called tradio, and it's also called swap shop. And what it is people can call up and sell their items on swap shop or tradio, and it's kind of like eBay on the radio.
Yeah.
And you can also send emails to the radio station, and if you're clever enough and you're kind of sly, you can have them read some pretty crazy things on the air. Like we said in one of them, we said we had tube steak for sale, and another one we said we had a fudge packing kit, and just goofy stuff like that they were actually reading on this one radio station. So the one in particular, the call that I got the name Charred Walls of the Damned from, was a call that we made to a tradio show down in the southern part of the U.S., and the station happened to be a very religious Christian-type station, and they found out after a few days of us sending in these fake emails and them reading these funny items on the air, they found out that they were being pranked. And we were listening one day, and all of a sudden the religious radio host comes on the air, and he goes, we discovered that we've been pranked. We got some sinners out there that are being guided by the devil, and they really got us. And this guy was so mad. He was saying all this stuff about how we were going to go to hell because we were prank calling and we were goofing around, and then he said if we don't accept Jesus into our hearts, we'll be burning in hell and scratching our nails on the charred walls of the damned. And so when I heard that, I looked over at Sal, and we both said pretty much at the same time, that's an awesome band name. And sure enough, I looked it up and made sure nobody else had that name, and apparently that phrase didn't even exist. I couldn't even find that phrase on the internet. So I guess this guy must have just said it off the top of his head in a fit of anger, and little does he know, he came up with an awesome band name for it.
Yeah, from a pissed off preacher.
Exactly.
That's the best way, man.
I'm very glad that the guy was really pissed off that day.
And the lineup you have for this album, I mean, it's a lineup of all-stars. These all your first choices for the album?
Oh, definitely. All these guys I've known for a long time. I have great chemistry with them. I've had a lot of good times with all these guys, and I knew we'd have a lot of fun together in a band. And Jason was the first one I called, and he was really into it. I've been writing music with Jason for almost 10 years now, actually, from way back when I lived in Florida. And I even helped him build Audio Hammer Studios back in the day. I did the parquet flooring in the drum room.
Oh.
So my little Audio Hammer claim to fame. But, I knew that I wanted to work with Jason because he's an amazing songwriter, amazing guitar player, amazing producer, and I love his studios. His studios are incredible. So he was the first person I called, and he was very into it. And then I called Steve. He was way into it. Steve's just such a cool, laid-back dude, and he was like, yeah, I want to jam with you. He was just so cool, and I've been a huge fan of Steve's for years, ever since back in the early 90s, late 80s, since I heard Sadus, and then his work with Death. I was a huge fan of his playing on Individual Thought Patterns, and so I was so psyched that he was into it. And then I called up Tim Owens, and he was really, really into it. We've been friends since we were both in Iced Earth, and had a lot of good times together on tour. And Tim's just a really, really funny guy, got a great sense of humor, and real laid back as well. So I knew that, having these guys in the band, there'd be no stress, there'd be no egos, no pressure, and we'd just have a good time and make some awesome metal.